Hello, everybody out there in the internet. Welcome to the Comic Book Talk podcast for August 13th, 2019. I'm Chris Adams, the Tech Master, joined by.
Buff Larkin. Hey,
Yes.
Techie. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Are you wearing pants?
I'm wearing shorts.
Oh, that's a surprise. Okay. So, well, I'm just saying. Now that you're in your pre-retirement, you're enjoying the luxuries of walking around your house naked. So it's like I just want to make sure if we're having this conversation, like if you're naked, you don't feel bad about it. Like this isn't. There's no camera on us. There's no camera on me, and there's no camera on you. So it's like if you're naked, then just let me know. I'm sure the people out there listening would like to have that visual image in their head of that you're buck naked walking around your house with a headphone on. Because I know you're up there with the technology, so therefore you probably have one of those Bluetooth headphones, and so you're probably on your couch or on your balcony with no clothes on. That's fine. It's just, hey, if you can do it, man, do it. That's all I'm saying. So don't shy away from the fact, and don't hide it if in fact you are naked.
I'm pretty sure I can't go on my balcony like that because it's not a nudist colony.
You've tried it.
No.
Well, that hiccup says you kind of did. Anyways, I know when you lie because you hiccup when you lie. That's how it is. So, oh, Tech, and you naked bastard, you. That's okay. So Canada, you're looking to come up to Canada, but you're gonna wait. That's what I heard.
Well, I was all ready, and then I was like, well, since I basically have, like, nothing going on, and, like, this is just a perfect opportunity, since nothing is, like, holding me back. But then I was like,
Well,
well,
pants and decency is what's holding you back. Canada, we do have relaxed laws. In fact, I was driving home from work just the other day, and I'm driving down towards the center of town, which, as we all know, in all the centers of our towns, you know it from where you live, it's a cesspool of all kind of craziness. There's a woman walking with no top on, and I'm going, what the frick? It's like, yeah, because up in Canada, at least in Ontario, you can walk around with a bare chest. Yeah, I know. That's what I said when I saw her. I got a hiccup too. I went, what the heck? So yeah, so that was a stunner. That's for sure. But see, so we're getting there, Tech, and we're getting to your standards. Right now we can walk around with the top off. I know you're really pushing for the get the pants off kind of thing, and we're getting there, Tech. And just give us another year or two. You never know. We're making it easy for the people in the States to come up to see us. It's like, oh, now we offer nudity. It's a good thing. So, anyways, that's my rant for the day. So you want to talk about the House of X and the style of X and whatever else, the world of X.
you don't even... House
Well,
of X and Powers of X, jeez.
well, the House of X sounds like a clothing place. One of those design houses where they design, this is the House of X, and then they do the runway and all that, and they just show off their latest outfits. The House of X. Come watch us at the House of X.
Okay, I have the hiccups. This is going to be weird. I don't think I've ever done a podcast with the hiccups, so this is...
No, it's either that or you're drunk. That's one of the two things.
This
You're
early in the morning, yeah.
Hey, it's pre-retirement, baby. You can do whatever you want. It's pre-retirement. I like that. I hope that has been coined. I think what you should do is you should trademark that, and then for all the millennials who don't want to get a job, they can just say that they're in pre-retirement. They want to have the feeling what retirement is before they actually have to work. I think you should trademark that. So I'm going to run the show today, am I? And you're just going to pop in with the words. Oh, okay, this is good. Mr. Ill. What did you do to yourself to give yourself the hiccups?
I don't know.
Is it me talking about the nudity that got you all excited and just set off the hiccups? It's like,
I have no idea what happened.
oh, I'm
I'll
telling you.
probably eventually go away. I'm not sure.
All right, so we've had two issues of the House of X, and we've had one issue of the Powers of X. We said on our last talk that that this was going to be something that was going to either we there it was going to be a big change, and this was absolutely he's taken it, put it on its head. Been a fantastic read so far. I'm a big fan of the House of X more than the Power of X. Tekken, what do you think of that?
I like them both equally.
I gotta give House of X. Well,
I mean,
maybe
there's
it's
only been one
because
issue
there's
of like Powers of X, and then like that, and then the thing about House of X is like, it's like from the first issue to the second issue, it was a completely different like, we pick up with like the X Men and where they're at, and the mutants and where they're at, and then the second issue is like completely different. It doesn't like continue. I mean, we
no.
get back to where we were at because it's like a bookended issue of like, this is where that issue that or like that talk with the stranger ended, but then you get all that backstory of like, okay, this is how we got to this point, and this is what's going on here. And so we didn't really pick up with like the whole like, Mystique and Sabretooth and Toad and Magneto and like what's going on in Krakoa and all that stuff, and like what was on Thumb Drive that they stole and like all that stuff. So it's just like a completely, it's basically filling in the backstory of like, okay, this is where we're at and how we got here.
So how? But I'm going to tell you this: House of X, number two, is House. It's Saus House of Ox. Um, it it was a slam dunk as opposed to how awesome that book was and how they redefined.
I thought it was like one of those brilliant Hickman moments where he does something and it's like an alternate take on like time travel and alternate timelines at the same time, because it's like your mutant powers reincarnation, what? And it's like, this is how this works, and it's like, oh, that was just like brilliant. I was like, wow, that was like just amazing. That was a fantastic read, and like
Yep.
that adventure that she went on, and like seeing every era, and when you got to like the end and it had like all the different timelines, and it was just like, or like her different lives, and it was like live one, live two, like it's like, oh, that was just, man, just the best.
But she only has 11 lives. That's all they saw in her, so she
Right,
doesn't have many left.
that's what she said. So we'll see if that's actually the case.
So my question is she on the 11th one right now, or is this whole story being told through her? You know what I'm saying? Things have drastically changed from where the X-Men were before Jonathan Hickman came on to it now. So is this the changes? Is this story how the changes are? And then when Hickman's done, and then she dies at the end when Hickman's run is over, and all of a sudden it goes back to somebody else. Is this somebody else's life? You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Could
That's
this could, and then so she goes back and she decides to go and take it at another path, and therefore that writer now has doesn't have to carry on. It's like the Grant Morrison stage, right?
yeah.
And it's like, okay, he had a very drastic stage as opposed to the one previous and the one after, right? So therefore, is that one of her lives that was used or like that? So it'd be interesting to see if by introducing the Moira idea now, is it just letting us know when she does die down this way, if it's just another life? Is it the I don't think it's her last one. I think this is what number 9 or something like
She's
that.
on the 10th one.
She's on the 10th.
We are in the 10th life of hers.
Okay, so the AKA the second. Oh,
Hence
so
the House of X, Powers of X.
yeah. So there we go. So there we see. So this is her 10th one. So therefore, she lives it out. She dies, and at the very end, she's born again, and therefore we're left with how is she going to change the universe, the X universe this time, and that'll probably be the last thing.
See, I think that's one thing that could happen. Then I think also like another thing that could happen is that they eventually bump up against like a being so powerful, since this is like what was hinted at of like how she could like die and like not be able to change things, is that like, they like whatever force or person or creature or being or whatever that they eventually piss off in the future or far future and like sees like, oh, this is how this happened, and just like goes all the way back and then just like kills her before her powers manifest, and then that's it. So
Possibly,
possibly that too.
possibly. You just never know.
But then
It can be.
when I was like rereading it, I noticed that like they don't actually show or say anything about her sixth life. So it's like, oh, maybe there's some secret life six event that happened that we don't know what happened, and maybe something else happened.
Hmm. Maybe she got the hiccups.
I also really enjoyed the just like the evolutionary perspective of it, as far as like the organisms of like um homo 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 sapien, and then like homo sapien superior, and then like the whole like two different organisms that are always in conflict no matter what. So you had like all 10 lives of hers, and then like it never works out. It's like humans and mutants are just always going to be against each other, and like there's always going to be a conflict. And I thought like that was like the interesting thing, when I said like the whole timeline time travel alternate timeline crap, when like it got to like the Master Mole part, because like she went back and killed all the Trasks, but it still happened. So it was very like it felt very reminiscent to like Terminator in that respect when I like saw that part, because it was like Judgment Day is inevitable. No matter what you do, you're just going to delay it. So there's no way that you ever get this out of the equation, as far as humans versus mutants, or humans versus mutants, and then they develop technology to kill the mutants in the Sentinels and like that. So I thought that was really great too. I was like, oh, so like no matter what happens, you can't really fix this with
Yeah.
just going back in time through these lives and doing things. So it's like you have to have like a more evolved, or like a more nuanced approach to like what you're doing. So at the part at the end, when it's like you pick back up to where the story began, and it's like, oh, do I know you? No, but I know you. Read my mind. Let me show you what happens. And it's like, ooh, what happened? What happened? Just like, oh, that
Is,
was a
is,
great cliffhanger. Just like, oh,
is, is that what your sound is when somebody's reading their mind?
no, that wasn't
Is,
explaining
is that
sound.
is that the sound that's made when Charles Xavier reads somebody's mind?
No,
Which is a lot better. Which is a lot better sound than this. Be honest, when you're reading somebody's mind. That's all I'm saying. That's good. You don't get caught up in all those celestial juices. That's for sure. Speaking of craziness, okay, then let's talk about the Power of X, and what did you enjoy about that issue? New
I
issues coming out this week,
I
right? So
this week we get issue number 2. I liked about that one just because there's the different eras. So you had like 10 years from now, or like you have the now time in the present. You have 10 years from now, 100 years from now, 1,000 years from now. So you have like current, future, far future, super distant future, and it's just like what?
yep.
Like how? Just like man, Hickman is amazing.
Spoilers.
He can just like tell
Spoilers.
the story from like so many different perspectives, and like how it built up and like got to that point, and just like what happened. It's just like so good.
And there's still no nudity, unlike up in Canada. That's all I'm saying. Figure that out.
And it was like cool the going back to like the whole evolution thing is like how the mutants like adapted their whole like breeding program. That was super weird. But then it was like when you're reading it and like in like the whole file system it's presented in of like Nathaniel Essex, Mr. Sinister. It's like of course he's like going to like ruin it because he's like evil, and like it's like why would you trust him? But then it's like that's like just shows how desperate they were to like implement something like that. But it was cool that like to take like the X gene, and then like if you could basically breed mutants and then have them have like multiple mutations to give them multiple power manifestations abilities to like fight in a like how you would basically like weaponize a breeding program versus like a super soldier program to like fight against the humans. I thought that's pretty cool.
So like Pokemon.
Kind of. I mean that is kind of true because like in
yeah.
issue 1 of House of X, when like they have like all the omega level mutants and like all the different power
It's
manifestations. That was
Haas
pretty
of
cool.
X. Haas of X.
House of X.
Thank you. Thank you. Haas of X.
And then and then powers of X, they have like the whole like chart of like the different power thingies that they can combine. That was pretty cool.
So we got Pokemon. Mutants is Pokemon. That's not bad. You breed them, and then they have different powers when you breed them up with different things. It's nice. It's a nice thing. There you go. So, obviously, it's a step in the right direction. We
Oh,
wanted
also,
something different.
sorry to like interrupt, but like, I really enjoyed the whole, the part in like the far future when like the machines turn on the humans, because it made me think of Days of Future Past, because like that's what happens is like they build sentinels and they like build all the machines to like kill the mutants, but then they turn on the humans, start hunting them. So it's like, oh, see, good job, humans, you played yourself.
And so it's Terminator with a Pokemon flair. Pokinator.
But
Pokinator.
then the cool thing about the whole Krakoa aspect is like they have the different islands that you can like jump through the portals to get to different places. So like because it goes so far into the future that like Krakoa has expanded, but then it contracted because of all the mutants dying, and they have like 3 islands left. So you have like the one in Shi'ar space, which is pretty cool by like the Shi'ar, and then you have I don't know where the second one's at. It's whatever, I forgot. And then I think
Whatever.
there's like 2 in space because like the one in the Shi'ar place, and there's like one like right outside like the Brood homeworld to like keep them back. And then you have like the third one that's like the last vestige of hope for like the human side mutants because there's like 5 or 6 of them or something. It was like very bleak. There's like there's only like 5 of us. Of course, Wolverine's there because he doesn't die because he can't age. So that's I
No.
thought I was like, dang it, Wolverine, whatever. But that's like whatever, whatever. So
So, is Charles Xavier evil?
possibly, because that was the cool part about the second part of House of X or House of X
Thank
when
you. Hoss of X.
when it showed that the part when Moira
I'm Charles Xavier. Welcome to the Hoss of X. I wear a big metal thing on my head. It's quite stylish in Europe.
that's the other thing. It's like you can't tell his emotions because he always has the helmet on. He always is wearing Cerebro, so you don't even know like what is he feeling, what is he thinking. So it's like I can't read his face because he's got the helmet. So who knows? But the part when like Mara was having her different lives, and then she's like, that was the moment it radicalized me. And then when she met Charles and she told him that one in that one life, what happens, and she's like, that
He-
radicalized him. So
yeah.
basically, she's already been radicalized. So I would imagine this is a very probably more militant slash Magneto slash like chaotic good leaning Charles than the not as ready and willing to
So,
fight Charles.
so the thing on his head is Cerebro, right?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, he's got to get that thing off. Talk about the funk. So I'm talking. I think your apartment's funky. Just think what he's doing there with that thing on his head all the time. It's like, and then what happened at the very start when he's saying, "Come to me, my X-Men," and it was like they're all been shot out of some kind of fake vagina. It was like, what the hell?
What?
At the very start, at the very start of Hoss of X #1, there he was, and all these mutants were all on the ground, and then they all looked up and they had like goop on them, and they all looked up at Chuck,
Oh, the part with the plant.
whatever, and then
That was I.
they all
You know
they
what?
all
I
they all
don't
looked
know what
up at
that
him.
was because that was weird when like they hatched out because it's like what's going on here.
Yeah,
But yeah,
like I said, fake vagina. That's all I'm saying. Hoss out of the House of Ox. Anyways, so otherwise, like I said before, this series, of course, has turned the whole X universe back on its head. It gives a nice fresh feel, just like the Morrison era and the Whedon era. I have to give that a good shot because that was a great time to be an X-Men fan. This absolutely is a great starting point. Get on it quick, and then just enjoy the ride. Because as a man who loved his Fantastic Four, as I did, I absolutely enjoyed these issues of the X-Men, and hope. And I know, I shouldn't say I hope. I know it'll be much better in the next coming months. It's going to be a long ride. Just enjoy it, and it'll all pay off. And
I,
his Avengers. Don't forget about his Avengers.
man,
That was also pretty
it
damn
was
good
it
too.
was
So
amazing. Man, Incursion storyline is like my best, like favorite storyline ever. That was just the best ride. Namor, Black Panther, I'm gonna kill you. Like there's so much happening all at the same time, and it's just like crises, and like the threat level is like just like it never comes down. It's like
No.
every moment something terrible could happen, and like it never lets up, and it's just so good. And
Yep.
it's just like amazing, just man.
It's go go go. It's
And
no
and
rest.
then in the Avengers book, it's like it's so good because it's like it has like all the stuff that's like not that of like them dealing with all the other things that's like in the periphery of like the Ex Nihili, like the white event, the black event, if Infinity effing Thanos looking for his effing son, that was like crazy, and then just man, just so good. So good.
Yes, exactly. So that was our comic chat, that's for sure. But you went and saw, finally, you went and saw Spider-Man Far From Home. Of course, you're probably the only guy in the theater.
I wasn't actually. I was surprised. There was like two groups of families and like some other people. I was like, dude, this isn't an empty theater at all. What the f? It's like that movie's been out for like a month. So I was like, oh, okay, got the theater all to myself. And then I
Yep.
was I was picking my seat, and I was like, what? There's quite a few seats taken. What's going on here? So, and
Yeah.
it was like 11 a.m. showing too. It's like when like everybody should be asleep. So I was like, what the f?
Well, I know they don't have the same weird sleep patterns you do, Tekken. All right, there's actually people who get up at like 7 in the morning, and do stuff. And unlike you, who go to bed at 7 in the morning and wake up at 9 just to do a podcast. It's stuff like that. But did it kind of set you off your mood because you're hoping to have a theater all to yourself to watch a movie?
Kind of, but
I went to Toronto this past weekend, and I rode with a gentleman who works at a movie theater, and so of course, being me, what kind of questions I asked to the guy who does the movie theater. I said, "So, how many people have you kicked out for doing stuff in the theater?" And he goes, "Well, it's not as often as you think, but it does happen." And so he was telling me this one story, and I'll tell it to you offline, so because it's well worth it. Let's just say there's some web fluid, that's for sure, involved.
wow.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Anyways, but so you being there with some families kind of put you off the mood, right?
Kind of.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, only in the fact that I just wanted like nobody else there, so
Did,
whatever.
did you wear pants?
I had shorts on.
Mm.
It's hot outside. Why would I wear pants in the summer?
Well, it's easier to get off, I guess.
What?
One way or the other. Anyways, how funky was the theater there?
It wasn't funky at all.
Good. Anyways, so you saw the movie, and what did you think?
That was great. I thought it was really cool. I thought okay, so it does like a lot of small things cool, like the whole like drones being used for the illusion, and then like at the part at the end, like you have the fight where it's like I thought it was like a cool like modern take as like what would it be cool for Spider-Man to fight? It's like Spider-Man versus drones, or Spider-Man versus like a drone swarm. That was pretty cool. Like that whole sequence, and then like all the sequences with like the illusions with Mysterio. I thought that was great. Like as far as like his like senses being like faked out and stuff, and like when he got hit by the train, it's like oh that was great.
Yep.
And like the part like when he's fighting him, and then like he doesn't like know what's happening, and then like there's just like stuff falling, like the crane. It's like whoa! It's like watch out, Pete, because it's like just he's just like fighting, but it's like it's an illusion. So it's like he's outside and there's buildings, and it's just that's great. And then I'm not gonna say what happens, but like the first post credits clip that was just spectacular. That was an amazing Spider-Man moment, and just like
Yes.
cannot wait for what's next. That was just
Now they understand why you can't just swing on a web. All right, it's not fun for everybody.
No, I mean not that part, but like the who you see and like what happens in that like
Yes,
the whole
yes,
what goes
but I'm
down.
just
But I
just
thought that part was
saying.
cool too when like you actually got to like have like MJ and him swinging, and like that camera perspective was pretty cool too.
Yes, exactly.
But then
And
her
then
reaction to it was great. She's like, "I'm never doing that again."
Exactly. So now you want to talk about the secondary spoiler thing, and you can now. It's been a month. There's still families, but it's okay. Um, so we got ourselves Nick Fury, and he's off in space.
Mm-hmm.
And now, what do you think the pieces are being led towards?
Okay, so my theory is, Shield was like a whole thing in MCU first 20 years, build up. Everybody knew what it was. Uh, but like I was reading at the time. Okay, maybe not at some point in time because it was like 20 years, dudes. Like not the whole time, but like Kenny Avengers and like some other stuff, and like there's a whole base of like operations for like their cosmic stuff, and it's like that's not in the MCU. And I was like, man, wouldn't that be cool if like it was brought in because like they're all going cosmic at the end. It's like an Infinity War, and they're going in space. Avengers in space. Carol Danvers is off world all the time. She never comes back. And it's like, you know what they need? They need sword base, and they need sword. That'd be cool. And I was like, man, maybe that's what that is. And like, it's like secret somewhere out in space. I was like, okay, well, theory A is that, and then theory B, it's just like more Kree scroll, blah 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 out in space. But I would hope that's not the case. 'Cause that's just too easy. That's too boring. It's like probably not that. So,
There's a threat coming. They've heard about this threat. It's in every race's history that there's this one great bad thing that could come to them. The boogeyman. The boogeyman's out there, and the boogeyman is real. And the boogeyman could show up at any time and just destroy you. And so therefore, they've told now these people about there's a way to, if they can beat Thanos, then maybe, just maybe, they could beat the boogeyman. That boogeyman is Galactus. And he's going to not be the big bad, because Thanos, was he the big bad? Yes, in a certain amount degree, but he was doing something that he thought was
like,
right.
I think that's like what we have to like look at it as is like Thanos. He had a reason. He had a drive. He was doing something. Like,
He was wrong.
He was wrong, but like it gave him a purpose. So it's like you don't just have like a villain that's like evil for the sake of being evil, or like bad for the sake of being bad. Like it's a 1980s Saturday morning cartoon. It's like they have to have like a motivation of like what drives them to do the things that they do. And like Galactus, he just eats planets. That's just the way he is. Like he can't help it, dude. He's like, I'm hungry, and just eats a planet. Can't
There you go. Why do I feel that's like one of your first dates?
Whatever.
Are you up for some loving? Good. Anyways. But Galactus is a force of nature. He's like the wind. He's like a hurricane. He just shows up and he destroys. And that's how it is. It's how he's lived for billions and billions of years before, and now billions and billions of years after. He's just something that has to be stopped. And that's a great way to bring back the Fantastic Four and everybody for one slam bang awesome finish. So there you go. And Doctor Strange.
Also, I did like the they talked about the whole time jump thing, and it's like a whole thing, the blip. I was like, oh yeah, that's cool. I was like, yeah.
Yep. This guy was like in grade 9 when we were before it happened. Now look at him. Now he's trying to bang every chick around. Tekken.
Yeah.
Is it just me, or have you ever been in one of those situations where your pants are down, and some guy walks in on you?
No way. I haven't.
Oh really? That's happened to me like 3 times. Anyways, that's good. You think I'd know better by now? That's all right. Anyway, so other than that, great movie. I think Tom Holland has nailed the Peter Parker character down. I like to think of him. I know Tobey gets a lot of love because he's the first Spider-Man to make it feel real, but I think Tom Holland has officially made it his role, and he is the man. What do you think?
I agree. He just has the whole his octave in his voice when he's like talking, like the part when he's like giving the speech with his aunt or Aunt Jane, or Aunt May, and then he's like, yeah, glad everybody's here.
Yeah.
It's just like
Yeah.
it's so good. It's like it makes me appreciate that they went with like young Spider-Man and not adult Spider-Man. 'Cause it's just like you'd have moments
Yes.
like that,
I
which
think maybe that's the big change, right? The Peter Parker we
yeah, it's
knew.
like he's not at the Daily Bugle just like having a crappy job, crappy life, like nothing ever goes well, bad luck, Pete. It's just so tired, and it's just like a more refreshing take on it.
Well, it's still bad luck, Pete, because no matter what, Jay Jonah is going to be just around the corner on you, and almost every girl he dates is connected to a
Oh yeah,
super
that's
villain.
actually that's a good point. Is like they kind of did like completely blow up the status quo at the end with that, with the whole reveal of like, ooh, well,
Eh,
you can't. Everybody knows you are now, Pete. Mm.
and
Which
his
that's gonna be an
mentor,
interesting change in the status quo going forward as far as like what happens next. Yeah, that's very that is going to be interesting.
and his mentor's dead, and it's just not all going up daisies for Pete, but that's good. That's
So
what you
now,
want,
yeah,
though.
'cause, like
Don't,
now I'm curious. It's like if like in Civil War when Aunt May got shot by Kingpin, or like someone was shot, or like someone shot her because Kingpin was like, "Do it, F Spider-Man.
yeah.
I hate him. He's my nemesis. He's been in ruining all these plans." It's like okay, well, like now it's kind of like the part when Mysterio's like targeting all his friends and classmates at the end. He's like, "Well, they know too much. They must die." And it's like, "Ooh,
And
I
see,
like
and
this.
the
I like
thing
this."
is, then he has to go make a deal with the devil
Oh,
to
see, dude,
to
no,
to change it all back. That's how it
no.
works.
They better not. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're
They
not
did.
going to do a New Day because that has more baggage than Joe Biden. That is like, why would you do that?
Wow,
That is just
bringing
like,
he just tied in comic books
yeah, I went
and
there.
politics. Wow, I guess
It's like
somebody's not on.
that is
So
that is like
okay,
one of the most just like. Just like controversial moments in Marvel Comics, just like people have so much anger still over that, just like what happened, and just like
so when you went and you voted this past week, but did you? So at the very bottom, you just wrote down everybody but Joe Biden. That we did,
that's
and
not.
then in brackets you had he's got a lot of baggage, and put down and just zipped it in. Is that what you did?
It was the primary for marriage and school board. It
Wow,
wasn't even on
wow.
those
Well,
candidates.
I know that's the worst part. You still put that on the you still put that on the vote thing.
It wasn't
Any
even writing. It
any
was electronic.
anybody but Joe Biden. Yeah, actually, it's like he's got a lot of baggage. Wow.
Uh,
Now I know who you're not voting for. Jeez Louise, more baggage than Joe Biden, I'm telling you. The man, well, that'll be our political podcast. Since I'm Canadian, I don't give that'll be our next thing. You want somebody young to run the show. That's how it is.
that is
The
not even
country.
true. That is
You
not
want
even
somebody young. You don't want the old in there because they're just gonna die. You want somebody who can put a couple of years in. You want like an Obama
a
who's in
couple
his
of years.
40s, who's in his 40s, and age to be look like
It's
80 by
not
the
even
time he
about
got
the
out.
age thing, dude. It's just like if when you are a politician, what's it called, parliamentarian or politician, whatever
Per-
the f,
Pervert.
and you've like gone very however long you've gone, and it's been a very long effing time, and you've made deals with like a lot of people. It's like
Hy-
you can't expect to
Hy-
like not have that like be brought up and be like, well, whatever,
Hy-
man. Like,
Hydra
compromises were made, and
was one of them Hydra.
possibly,
Okay,
possibly,
possibly. That's
possibly.
I'm telling you. Cut off one arm, another one will grow back. Okay, so back to Spider-Man
Wow,
before you went
I
on your
mean,
rant.
you could even like I mean, there's plenty of tentacles in the administration right now, so yeah,
Celestial
that wouldn't
juices.
be far from the truth.
There you go. Well, you keep with your crazy antics. Anyway, so Spider-Man. I don't know how you got on that tangent. Tangent in the House of Ox.
We're the one that brought it up. You're like, oh well, maybe they'll Make it
Well, you're the
over
one.
and over
No,
again.
no, you brought up the more baggage than Joe Biden. You're the one who
That's
did that.
because that's how much
More
baggage that
bag.
storyline has. Because
There,
everybody's like, yeah, man. Remember, there's like a whole there's like a whole enclave of like Spider-Man fans that are just like, I used to like Spider-Man, and then that happened, or like, I still read it, but it's like I'll never
first of all,
accept it as the real
don't make
canon.
don't make the people who used to read Spider-Man talk like the House of X. I used to watch Spider-Man. That's my gimmick. Do not use it for your
I
own
didn't.
stuff. All right.
I was not sounding like House of Ox. I said
I
that.
used to watch. I used to read Spider-Man. Now I don't because it's not as fun anymore. House of X is my thing.
I mean, after Superior, dude, I thought I could never go back, but Tom Holland, he's won me over.
He
Thinks
has
he's
won
gonna.
you over, absolutely. And the Spider-Man book itself, it's doing very. I really enjoy it. So it's a nice little
Superior
read.
was so good they brought it back. That's how good Superior was.
That's
They were
right.
like, it was gonna be a gimmick, one-time thing, and then they brought it back.
You should read Ultimate or Absolute Carnage. It's actually not a bad. It's just
Is that an event or is that just like ongoing?
No, it's a mini.
Okay.
He's going so Carnage is going around trying to kill off all the venoms that are around because every time a venom attaches itself to somebody, it's left a part of it in the person in the DNA. So it's fantastic. The artwork is beautiful and the writing is right on the wall. Spider-Man sounds like Spider-Man, and it's just perfect. It's just a great time. They have to take a lot. They did a lot to Venom, and now they have to which is kind of horse flunky.
Yeah,
But
I saw they gave him wings or something weird. I was like, what?
I don't know about that, but that's okay. Hey, good. You don't know that.
I mean, not to
That-
say he couldn't because he's like an alien symbiote, so it's like whatever, like sky's the limit. But
Yep.
it was just like something different, so that was neat.
Yep. He could have got a massive. No, never mind. Anyways,
Celestial
Hey.
juices flow within him. Symbiote comes from
Exactly.
space.
exactly.
He's an alien.
So that's sick. Tekken, stop it. All right.
What?
So that's our comic chat, but we want to talk about Tekken wanted to bring up about boycotting Borderlands 3. Now, when is Borderlands 3 coming out? November, or is it coming out earlier?
September something.
Did you just say September?
It's like the 7th or 13th because it's like the week after Monster Hunter expansion.
So people want to boycott it because why, Tekken? What's the story behind
Because
it?
apparently someone leaked information about the game, and then TK was like, "Oh, we can't have this. Let's send our investigator to question them." And they sent these private investigators to this person's house.
So here's
To be
my
like,
question:
how did this happen?
Wouldn't you?
I mean,
Wouldn't
it was like the stuff that they leaked though was just stuff that was it was kind of 2K Gearbox's fault because they had like these accounts that they made that were basically not left private. So like the stuff was out there to find and like data mine. So it's not like you just couldn't do it unless you just breached their uh security or whatever. It was pretty easily doable if you knew what you were doing.
okay.
It's the 13th.
So,
It comes
but-
out
but
on
still-
September 13th.
But still, it's nice for them to go and find out what happened so they could fix it for the next time.
Yeah.
So
Just-
I don't
just,
see
you
why
know.
people are getting all upset.
Tying up loose ends without killing someone. Always a good thing.
See, exactly. They could have.
I was about to say something that's like another political thing. I'm gonna let it go this time.
Yeah.
we've had enough politics today.
The man was on a suicide watch. And he committed suicide.
This is true.
They probably watched him do it. That's all I'm saying. Is that what Suicide Watch was? I'm watching this. I don't understand why.
That's not how that's supposed to work.
No. But okay, so let me get into a little story. All right. Jerry the King Lawler. His son, Brian Lawler, all right,
Mm-hmm.
got arrested for driving under the influence. And so they put him into jail. And Jerry talked to the guards. He said, listen, we have to clean him up. he's got to get cleaned up. He can't keep doing this. We got to give him like the tough love, right? But I don't want to leave him in there with hardened criminals, right? And so he talked to the guy in charge of the jail. He said, no, we'll keep our eye on him and all that. And then a little over a week or so, or short in time, I don't know the whole story. Towards that,
I don't know the whole story.
And he unfortunately committed suicide. And so this guy who promised Jerry that he'd keep an eye on his kid, well, now his kid just died on his watch, and it's like, what's going on? You're supposed to be watching after him. So it's and of course now Jerry is gone and he's starting to sue and all that, right? And rightfully so. If the guy said he's going to look after his son and make sure that he was safe and all that, and this doesn't happen, it's the wrongful death, right? So it does lead questions to be asked. That's for sure. And Epstein said he knew lots of powerful people. And so I'm just saying there could have been a ninja. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm thinking ninjas were involved.
Okay.
They can get in. They live in the shadows, buddy. I've seen enough movies to know that they need to get in somewhere. You can't hear them.
Or see them.
Or see them until at the very last second. And then by then it's over. If you see them, you're already dead. That's how it is. So who do you think did it? You might as well tell us your crackpot story. So who did it?
I actually don't have a theory on that, so I don't
Yes,
know.
you do. Yeah, you do.
I'm waiting for all the facts to come to light before I make any judgments.
What would have happened if somebody would have been president and this came out and this happened? What would have happened? Would anything have been different if this would have happened? That's all I'm saying.
Oh, man.
Because I don't know. I'm just saying, if somebody was president who isn't the president now, or could have been, you never know.
It works both ways in this case. It's great. It's like either way. It's like, oh, hypothetically, either way. Who knows?
Let's go down to the islands. Man, there's a lot of young people. What's going on with that? Oh. Anyways, I have no idea what this story is. All I hear. Anyways, Tekken. What were we talking about? Oh, yeah, Borderlands. Thank God nobody listens to this damn thing. This would be way too much. Way too much for them to understand. Your hiccups are gone all of a sudden. It's all good. So Borderlands 3, you're looking forward to it.
Oh, yeah.
Why?
Because it's one of my favorite series, and it does all the things right, and it is consistent. It's just like, it's not one of those games where it's like, you know what we're going to do next time? Do things so different. And then it's terrible, and they add the Batmobile, and you're like, why is there so much Batmobile? Like, nobody asked for Batmobile, guys. Like, you had a great formula here, and you ruined it.
Especially in Borderlands. We need more Batmobile. So you're not a big fan of Arkham Knights?
I am not a big fan of that game. F that game. No. Okay, just answer your question. I am not. F that game. F that game.
Because it was Arkham Asylum and Arkham City.
It was great. Every Arkham game is effing fantastic, and like the next one is like so much better than the last one. And then Arkham Knight comes out, and it's like it was on the next gen, and all the other ones are not on the next gen. It's like, you know, seeing everything before. It's like, oh, it looks amazing. Oh, look how good it looks. Oh, it's nighttime and the rain. Oh, so good. I mean, it plays good. Whatever, dude. It's like. It's no boss fights. The boss fights were effing amazing. The boss fights were epic, and then no boss fights. All of a sudden, the game comes out, and it's like, oh, guess what? We took out all the boss fights, and we added the Batmobile.
Well, yeah, but it was a rushed product, though, Tekken, if I recall.
Probably was. I mean, it was like not
I
the
think it was
PC version was
rushed.
like terrible and like didn't work for like months, and it was like, oh, sorry guys, we just couldn't pull it together on the PC version. Whoopsie.
Okay, can I ask a question, Tekken?
Yes,
Was that your Batman voice you were doing
that
then?
was not my Batman voice.
Hey, everybody, there's no boss fights. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was like, oh, that would scare me in a dark alley for different reasons. Hey, what are you doing down here?
And then, like, the
Yeah, yeah.
story thing is, like, they're like, you'll never know who the Arkham Knight is. You'll never know. You never guess. You never guess who. You never guess who. And it's like, oh, is it Jason Todd? Is it also, like, the guy who's Red Hood? And, like, maybe this is another version of that? And it's like, oh, well, actually, yeah, kind of is. So, darn. So much for that. Maybe next time.
And why did he become the Arkham Knight then?
Because he was obsessed with, like, I mean, he wasn't obsessed, but like he basically just took all his Batman training and like used it for bad, essentially.
That's not right. It's kind of rude.
And like we had like the whole like obsession with like getting revenge on what happened to him, and like
Yeah.
getting back at Bruce. So yeah,
Uh, did they actually show him getting blown up?
it
Or
didn't
they
show
just
him getting
alluded
blown
to
up, but it showed him getting tortured. There's a sequence that you go through where like you have this vision or flashback to him in a chair, but I don't know if he actually gets tortured. I know he doesn't get blown up. He might get like struck a few times, but it's
it with a crowbar?
it's very reminiscent of the Under the Red Hood scene at the beginning, but it's not, but like they don't actually blow him up like they do in that one, which is like why it's the best. But
Every time I grab a crowbar at work, I think about that scene.
that scene was brutal, man. Like when I saw that the first time, because I didn't even like know, and then like the Joker's like
Yeah,
leave the
not that
light
it's
off or
called
something,
death.
and like closes the doors. I'm like what? That was so brutal.
Yeah,
He just,
yeah. Death in the family. How would you even know that was going to happen? That's right.
man, that was great.
Good. All right. So, what else has tickled your fancy today?
Tickled your fancy.
Tickled your Hasselback. Haas.
Oh, oh man, you said something earlier, and I was gonna like say something about there's a good like you said something about like all the great X-Men runs, and like there's this
Uh, uh,
part in House of X
the
2.
unexplained suicides that are in our jailing system.
No, that's
Oh,
not what I'm talking
that
about.
could be politically connected to big wheels in Washington.
No, not that. But
Tech, and make sure when you're doing this that you delete that part because I don't want to get. I'm in Canada, so I think I'm safe, but I just don't want no ninjas in my house. They ruin the furniture, those ninjas. So I really don't want them in my house. So take out all that ninja talk too. So
I don't
okay.
edit these, so it's not happening.
Oh hot damn.
But you're saying
Tech,
like,
if something happens to me, all right, take this to the newspaper.
take this to the newspaper.
To your local newspaper and just say what happened. All right, don't let my death go unresolved. All right,
Okay.
good.
Um, but yeah, you're saying, or you said something about like all the different like really good X-Men runs by like Josh Whedon, and then you had Grant Morrison, and John Byrne, and like all that stuff. But there's this part when like Moira has one of her lives, and then she meets Charles, and like things are going well, and she's like she so much so that she stood by his side for the rest of their days, and it like has like these different panels of like the different eras of X-Men. She had like First Class, and then you had giant size X-Men, then you had Dark Phoenix, Cyclops, yeah. But then I was like kind of bummed because I was like, well, what about 90s X-Men? I was like, how come they got left
Oh,
out?
there's still no Planet M, and like
I'm just saying, dude. Like, it didn't have a
that's
panel of them. It's like, oh,
that,
I'm fine with that. But it's like, I kind of felt, like if you're gonna have like all these sweet panels of all the sweet eras, and you leave out 90s X-Men, it's like,
that's my wheelhouse, baby. 90s X-Men with the Gambit. Don't you know, love, huh? Share, hey, share. Hey, I can. I don't know how many aces I have up my sleeve, but they're all aces. I throw them at you. How do you get all those aces? How many decks of cards do you have to go through to get all those aces?
I don't know.
Oh shit. Anyway, but well, no, but like Planet M. I remember the very first
No,
X
I'm just saying, like in that issue though, it's like there's like this cool sequence where it has like the first class team, giant size
Strife.
team, and then you have the Phoenix Five, and you have like this homage to the Days of Future Past. But
Who
there's
could ever forget about? Something I felt the same way too, when I saw that kill out. But what about the legacy virus? Like,
mm-hmm,
how could we forget about the legacy virus?
mm-hmm.
Exactly. See all the fun we had there. Oh, the laughs we had.
Actually that was a cool part in the House of X issues because like she had the cure, but then the villains came in and they're like, "We're shutting this down," and it's like you're gonna work for us now. That was like also the cool part is like how they recruited her as far as like making her fear for her life of like we can end you and we know how to end you, so you're going to do our work now and you're going to help
Hmm.
us. You're going to help your own kind because the humans will always turn against us and they're never going to change. You're one of
Yahoochie.
us and
Yahoochie.
you're going to do our bidding or feel our wrath.
I like the fact you've added now voiceovers to our conversation.
And then that was crazy. It's like they still killed her. It was like pyro, burn her even slower. It's like oh, that was dirty. That was dirty, man.
See, that's right. Well, she has to understand and remember how much barbecue.
It's like
Did you ever have barbecue after that? That's my question.
I haven't yet.
Yeah, I bet she hasn't. Well, it smells like me. Anyways, that's good. Now that's a funky. That's a funky right there. Anyways, so what are you excited for this coming month in the terms of comic books and video games?
Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to say is like it's really nice to have like a weekly issue instead of like a monthly. I mean, that
Hmm.
being said, it's expensive, but like knowing that it's like two series tied into each other, and then it goes into the ongoing every month. It's really I like really like having to like not wait every month to like get a new issue, and like having an issue every week to read. This is like a really interesting concept that I like usually I'm not on board for, but it's like Hickman, I was like I'll take a chance for you, but anybody else like Batman Eternal, I was like man, that's a really cool concept, but that's
But
super expensive. And Batman always wins anyway, so it's like whatever. So
well, that's a spoiler.
I mean I haven't read it, but it's like I'm pretty sure he saves the day. So.
That's right. All right.
But as far
So
as like what I'm looking forward to, I went back and I was like about to like reread some of the Uncanny X-Force that like I like skipped over like 3 issues or something, so I like missed that middle arc when they like fought the arch villain in that run, and I like want to go back and read like I keep meaning to like go back and read a bunch of stuff. I still haven't like jumped back into Saga to catch up, so I'm still behind. Yeah, for House of X and Powers X for sure because I'm all the way in on that one. Uh. Haven't really caught up on anything else, so I
that's
don't know
okay.
when.
Hey, well, you're in pre-retirement, so it's all good. So how far is your comic book shop from your house?
It's not that far actually. There's like one right down the street.
Oh, that's not
Well,
bad then.
I mean, it's not down the street, but it's pretty close. It's like
It
relatively close. It's not very
it's on
far.
a street that's close to you.
Yes,
There you go. That's all that
because
matters.
I almost. It's funny because I almost went in to like get the like variant covers because there's this one like Cyclops and like 5 Cyclops on it, and I was like, oh man, I really want that. It looks really cool. But I was like,
Of course,
but then I don't want to go outside, and I was like,
you get that piece of trash.
what?
Well, I know Charles is back, so therefore he didn't really kill him, but he still killed him, so he's a piece of trash. I'm just throwing that out there. The man's a piece of trash.
He was cosmically corrupted, dude. Who has been able to like pull themselves back when they were Dark Phoenix to like not do something terrible?
Joe Biden.
Actually, I think he killed him before he went Dark Phoenix. So actually, yeah, that
Who?
was
Joe Biden.
no. It's like
Are we back to the Suicide Watch again? He went Dark Phoenix.
I think that's the only thing is like you have
Do you think the
all
hand
the
did it?
recent deaths in the X-Men. Like everybody's been like resurrected. Everybody's back. Like Jean's back, Xavier's back, Scott's back, Logan's back. So it's like
Well, if you're gonna tell a story, tell it like that. Bring everybody back for one awesome story.
yeah.
I would have saved Wolverine though. I would have kept him dead and then have him brought back in this series just to boop make it a story. But that's okay. They bring him back beforehand. Do you think the Hand did it?
Shut up. But
Then they're
then,
talking about
but then, like
ninjas.
the neat thing is that like recently, Jean, she like when like the Phoenix first came back, she something happened where she was like she not what was the word? Not neglected, but she was like, I'm not gonna let you be the host of me anymore. Or something happened, so it's like she can't be Phoenix ever again. So that was like a big change.
Well, every time she does, she dies. So it's like, what's the? I know how this date's gonna end. So
Yeah, she like renounced her Phoenix legacy, so that was neat. Uh oh, MCU. We didn't talk about the MCU stuff. There's like a ton
oh
of
yeah, I
ton
was
of.
gonna yell at you about that.
Why are you gonna yell at me? It's not my fault.
Uh, that's all right. Uh,
What? Oh,
that's
actually,
right.
there's like one more thing about House of X I didn't bring up was like the whole
Os.
House of X when
Awesome.
is the first issue when they had the like all that tech that is like left over from Stark and Reed that like actually it's cool because it's like even some of it was from when Hickman did New Avengers, like Soul's Hammer is still in play, and like you go to it and they're building like this like massive Master Mold or something, and it's like what? So it's still there. It's like oh they didn't it's not just like not in continuity or like non-canon. It's post Secret Wars. It's still around. So it's like oh, and the bridge. So they can like see back in time. I mean, we don't know if they're going to like actually use it, but it's like it was just like cool to see like all that stuff like that Hickman has like made, and it's like it's
Hmm.
still around out there,
Oh yeah.
just like floating around, and like the whole
Why
like
not?
and like all the like secret teams that like the humans have made to like try to build up against the mutants. Like
Yeah.
they're what was it called? It was like a contingency as far as like these mutants are popping up again after we almost wiped them out the last time.
Yeah.
So we gotta make sure this time we get them for good. So you have like Shield and AIM and all these other like groups, and it's like 1% Hydra or something. That was weird. It was like we were so desperate we even brought in Hydra Hydra
Yep.
agents.
Yep. Exactly.
So I thought that was
So
great.
so when it comes to MCU and their new whole bunch of things, so the director who did Armageddon, the or what? No, yeah, no, yeah, the Thor movie,
Yeah,
right?
Taika
He's back.
Waititi.
Yes, thank you. Is officially doing his come back to write the to do the Thor movie. Was it Love and War?
Love and Thunder.
Love and Thunder, which should be very entertaining. I love that movie. That the Thor movie was probably one of my favorites of all the MCU movies because it had everything you wanted to have in a movie. That's for sure.
I secretly really like Thor: The Dark World. Like that was I saw that I thought it was like a really cool sci-fi space fantasy space opera with Midgard stuff
And you're welcome to your opinions. You're
or
wrong, but you're welcome to your opinions.
or what is it called, Norse stuff on it too. Yeah, that was neat.
Yeah. So, but and should I be nailed as being a nostalgic man for saying he still wants Wesley Snipes in the Blade role?
Yes.
Okay. I get it and I understand, but it is Wesley Snipes, and it'd be awesome. But we got to give the new gentleman a good chance to get there, and so yes, but that's not for another couple of years though, right?
Mm-hmm. Because
He's
I
way
think
down there.
20. I'd have to look at the calendar, but I think all the stuff that we saw was like up until 2022, maybe. So it's gonna be a while.
And by then, Biden will be
Talking about Biden.
running this country down the tubes. If Tekken has his belief system, anybody but Biden. That's right. So. That's right. So, what are you excited about when it comes to the MCU people? And then we'll close this sucker off.
Definitely the next Doctor Strange, because I mean it's weird, because like nothing in that was like a continuation of things I liked except for Doctor Strange. I mean maybe Captain Falcon and Winter Soldier, yeah, but it's like I don't think they're gonna recapture that like magic of effing Winter Soldier, man, because that was so good. It's like I want it to be more of that, but then it's like I don't even know if Hydra's still in play. But then Zemo made the appearance, so it's like oh, so it's like oh, because he's like secretly the best villain in the MCU, dude. He beat the Avengers. He made them beat themselves. It's like oh, so good, and just like man, more of that, please. Just but then it's like streaming series, so who knows? It's like that's the other thing. It's like we don't know like what the quality of these will be because we haven't had one, so it's like you can't like unless you got like the Netflix one, but it's not the same company, so it's not the same product, so it's not the same stuff. So it's like we don't really know what to expect. So it's like I have a high bar in my mind of like what I want to see and like how I want it to happen, but it's like until I actually get like one episode to be like oh this is the quality that we'll get. It's like who knows? That's not until I believe November. So but that and then effing but like for sure dude like effing Doctor Strange is like one of my favorites, so I can't wait for like more of that. And like since it said like the whole multiverse of madness, it's like will we finally for yes or no on the multiverse thing, because I stayed away from like the Spider-Man trailers because of like the whole like rumors of that. So it's like okay, but then I finally saw it and it's like oh okay, so not so much, but it could still happen. And like Wanda's still on the table, so who knows what she's gonna do and like what powers they'll give her to be like oh I just blinked a bunch of stuff into existence or out of existence because I got crazy powers. Oh,
No. That's right.
definitely looking forward to like the Thor and Love and Thunder though, because like that yeah, I also very much enjoyed Ragnarok. That was the best action comedy series in the MCU is the Thor series. I mean, actually not, because Guardians is better, but I mean, Guardians 1 Guardians 1's like essential. Guardians 2 is kind of like trying too hard, so it's like And Guardians 3 not on the table, dude. That hurts me, man. Like I was so pumped for effing like Thor and the Guardians, dude. Just like
Yeah.
as Guardians of the Galaxy, dude. Just and it's not happening. So it's like now it's just like I hope maybe we get Beta Ray Bill, because Thor's obviously not gonna be in that movie. So or maybe he will be, but probably not. So whatever.
Hope is always there. That's for sure.
I mean, to me, it's like Blade 2, like pre-MCU, is like one of the best superhero movies ever of all time. Like, it's just like it is a classic. So it's like and like knowing that like Guillermo del Toro is like not even involved, it's like I'm very interested to see where this goes. But it's like to me that like was the secret sauce of that movie was like him and his like horror just flavor all up in that, just like all the practical effects, all the CG, all like the story, just like you had you had zombie vampires in that. That's like the best. That's the best. It was like so good.
Thank you.
And then just
Exactly.
and the ending, man, that ending is so touching and like so sad and tragic. Just like when, like they're in the sunset and he's holding her and she's just like ashes away. Just like it gets me every time, dude. Just every time it's just so good. Just one of the best.
All right,
I just
Tekken.
want to take my finger and like wipe the tear from Blade's face in that scene. It's so touching. It's just so good.
There you go. See,
Everything else is like obviously I can't even think of it right now, so it's like whatever. But that's the stuff I'm looking forward to: Doctor Strange, Thor, Love and Thunder, Captain Falcon, Winter Soldier.
it'll be. You can take the Disney shows and shove them up your butt, as far as I'm concerned. But for Doctor Strange, I'm very interested in seeing it, and for the other for Guardians, yes. For Thor, yes. It was going to be interesting. We'll see where it goes from here. I'm not going to get
anything about the Eternals, so I'm just interested in that just because
that's going to be the first dud. That's going to be the first one they say, why the heck did we do this? Because nobody will give it to. Trust me, they tried to push those Eternals onto us like there's no tomorrow, and it all turned out to be a big load of turd every time. So good luck. Mark my words. Timestamp this. Write it down in a book that when that movie's out, Joe Biden's going to be president, and the Eternals will be the first colossal stinker bomb for Marvel.
Oh, and then but since like the What If is like the only animated one, it's like
that's perfect.
I really hope, but I know it won't be as good as DC's because like all their animated stuff is like phenomenal and like just it's its own class, dude. It's like it's so far above everything. It's so good.
Who's going to do the animation for the Marvel one there, Tekken?
Probably Disney. I don't know.
There you go. And Disney's just your third-rate animation place. That's what you're saying.
That's not what I'm
That
saying. I'm just saying it's like,
Disney's some
there's a
slack
high
jawed.
bar for like animated
Yeah, it's not like that Pixar or anything like that.
series, and it's like it's not gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be CG. I think it's gonna be 2D.
I'm just saying that the animation
It's like
is there.
I haven't enjoyed an animated Marvel thing since like '90s, like since like Spider-Man and X-Men. It's like since then, it's like what the f. I mean, there is like the Ultimate Avengers or something, or actually, never mind. I'm wrong. Because like the Marvel Knight stuff, that's really good, and they had some like really good motion comic stuff that came out as well. So never mind. I was
See?
wrong.
Yeah. So take your ideas and shove them up your butt. All right. That's how that
I'm
is.
just saying, dude. I recently watched the Death of Superman, and it was great. Like, 'cause they took the
Take
Disney,
take
they
the Disney shows and shove them up your butt. That's all I'm saying. Like the Vision and Scarlet Witch, that'll be canceled in the first 2 episodes. And what else was there? Falcon and that'll be the longest rating one. That'll stay on the longest. But the other ones, what else? What else is there? What If? That'll stick around because people love seeing those stories. What else was there?
let's see. I'll look it up. Hold on. Let me.
Yeah, it's up your butt. That's all I'm saying. Anyways, we'll talk about that next time. We'll get it studied up more, and we'll talk about it more next time.
Hold on. I can find it real quick. Let's see you. Do. Let's see. Shang-Chi. We didn't even talk about Shang-Chi, dude. That could be cool.
Could be. How
I mean,
that
that being said, it's
how
like,
that Iron Fist show go?
hey, I enjoyed Iron Fist season 1, and then
Oh,
people
you're
said
the
season
guy.
2 was better, and I haven't even watched
Oh, you're
it,
the
so-
guy. You're the guy. And you're in pre-retirement. You're just not even watching it. You got all the time in the world on your hands, and you're still not watching it. What does that tell you?
Well, stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. You gotta be in movie theaters.
I mean, that's also like the weird thing is like I feel like I don't need to see the movies now because I could just wait for it to come to streaming. So it's like, unless it's like something I really want to see, it's like I don't really feel compelled.
Yeah. Well, you're a hermit now. We understand that. Why go outside when all the fun's
Okay,
inside?
I found the chart. So we've got Black Widow, Eternals, Wanda and Vision, Loki, Hawkeye, Falcon Winter Soldier, Shang-Chi, Doctor Strange, and the Multiverse of Madness, What If, and Thor Love and Thunder, and then also Blade.
All sound like winners except for the Disney shows. Yeah, and the Eternals, which, like I said, timestamp it. Joe Biden, Eternals, flop. There you go. I didn't want Joe Biden to win, but I think he's the one that he's the only one that can win a certain
Dude,
state.
that's like a whole thing I'm not even going to talk about on the podcast because like
He's
how
the
strongly I
only
feel
guy-
about that. And like
he's
you're
the
so
only
wrong
guy-
right now. I'm not
he's
even
the
going to
only
go
guy
there.
that can
I'm
win
not even, I'm not even
Iowa.
going to go there. I'm not going to go there. I'm going to say it
And
right
they're-
at the podcast. But
and
you're
that's
wrong.
and that's a super state, and so they have to win that one. And he's the only person
That
they
is not true
that
at
can
all.
win that one.
And you're wrong.
That's what they told me. I'm
That's
Canadian. I
who
don't
told
give
you?
two.
Who told you they were wrong?
I think it was a ninja. Whispered in my ear.
You have no idea how sick I am of hearing about Joe Biden. I'm already sick of hearing about Joe Biden. And just like
But he was
every time I read about it, it's like, why is he winning? Why is he the front runner? Why? It just eats at me every day.
Because he is the hope to beat the devil.
They're
because
all the hope. They're all the
because-
hope. This is like whatever.
I don't know where you get that sound from. I don't even want to guess.
That's the sound I make when I try to lift Mjolnir.
When your brain explodes. Just remember, Tekken,
not
don't
really-
drink bleach. It will not cure cancer, okay?
Okay.
They had to go and make that statement known. Or cure autism. Who the hell would tell people drinking bleach would cure autism?
See, the thing I think that's weird to me about Shang-Chi is, like, I didn't know that character, and then, like, I read Hickman's Avengers. He's in there, but he doesn't do
Yeah.
anything. And then, like,
No.
he gets a cool power, and they never use it. It's like,
But it's just
except for,
like,
once.
this. It's just like The Simpsons, right? When Homer's having that big fight and he goes, "Oh, watch out for that guy. He's not making any moves, but as soon as he does, he's gonna kick everybody's butt." And then Homer turns around and all of a sudden you hear, "Hi guy," and then he looks on, "Oh, I missed it." That's
it's like
exactly what he
Cannonball
did.
and Sunspot have more lines than him. It's like what
Yeah.
the f, dude? He was like super underutilized and like barely
He's, he,
used. I mean, there's like the
he's
one issue where like he gets like that sweet power from like the planetary whatever Century 6 system where he can like duplicate. But besides that, he has like the one cool moment and like that's it. And like maybe they use it like twice and that's it.
that's
It's
all.
like
That's all you need to do.
I mean, so it's like
He's a stonic
so in my
man.
brain I'm like, well, it's cool, but like I only know him as like the dude that can duplicate and fight, but like he can't duplicate. So like they took half of his coolness away from the comics because I'm unless they like give him duplication powers. But like I'm not complaining if they do because that'd be cool.
There you go. Well, perfect.
Black Widow, I'm like I could care less about because we all know what happened to her,
Wrong.
and I
Wrong.
mean we'll finally get to see what happened in Budapest. Whatever.
Okay, good. I'm very excited about that movie
Why?
because Scarlett Johansson is a lovely lady, and she's deserving of everything. Out of all the movies, she deserves one of her own, and it will be a mildly successful one.
Okay, I'm not saying she doesn't deserve it. I'm just saying it's like there's no. It's kind of like the Solo movie. It's like after Episode 7, there's nowhere to go with this character. So what are we doing? What's going on?
And that's good. We'll find out. But it will be a mildly successful one. Eternals will be a human dump.
I literally just keep crying on Eternals.
There's no good thing that comes out of this Eternals thing. Nothing. I do not see
What if
anything.
Uatu's in it finally, and we're like, the Watcher you were watching this whole time for 20 years, but then he can't say anything until then, like the Fantastic Four, or maybe they tease it, and it's like, oh, but then that's probably not going to happen because it's like
The
waiting for 3
Watcher,
years.
the Watcher belongs in the Fantastic Four universe, just like Galactus does. But they're going to use him anyways. They could be setting up for the Annihilation Wave, which could be also a more that would be more of a thing that you'd want to use the Annihilation Wave as a big baddie. So we'll see what happens. But I right now I think I take the Watcher to be more like what you are in the movie theater.
If you say so.
With his pants up. Anyways, so you want to sign us off, big man?
Okie dokie.
Just
yeah.
remember, Joe Biden,
Shut up.
ninjas, and we're all set.
I've heard enough about Joe Biden for today. It's only 9:30 a.m. So yeah.
Just don't turn on CNN. Then.
I don't have cable and I don't watch CNN, so that's not gonna happen.
You are turning into a hermit. That's what you are.
Um,
Nothing wrong with that in these times. How many cans of fruit do you have in your drawer?
I don't have any. All I have is bread, peanut butter jelly, and eggs, and bottles of water,
So what
and
happens
cereal,
when?
and rice
So
milk.
so what happens if the world goes to shit, and you don't have any of you seem to be like a man who's well prepared, and you'd have like a whole cupboard full of canned beans and vegetables and fruit just to get you through the Holocaust that's going to happen, the Armageddon wave of Joe Biden. The man was vice president to the man who was the best president.
Well, maybe
Kennedy.
he should have took his time to do that when they were trying to force upon us a very unpopular person that nobody liked and shove it down our throats. How about that? And then later it was like, oh, also getting investigated by the FBI, but whatever. So
That's when you call them the ninjas. I thought we got this down pat already. All right, Techie, sign us off, big man.
so yeah, check out House of X and Powers of X because Hickman's awesome.
Hoss of X.
House of X
Thank you.
and Powers of X, and
Yep.
weekly fun times with immunes. It's great. So yeah, until you see from us again, Comic Talk Podcast, and we're now signing off.